All right. So, hey everyone, we are on day 3 of the 7-day live health motivation challenge. And don't forget, today's question was and still is, what lesson did you learn from your health journey last year? I shared where I had to shift the way that I thought about my progress and what about my quote unquote failures. And so I'm super excited because we're going to be talking to mindset coach, personal coach Lisa about shifting the way that we think about ourselves, about our way, about just physically, to where we are, from the restriction to leading really a healthy and balanced life that we absolutely love. So Lisa, I would love for you to share, how you got into this mindset coaching people to shift the way that they think about themselves, and definitely how you also shifted, and what you lessons you've learned last year as well, and how you can help people shift that mindset from where they are to just having such an abundant, healthy life. So yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I am so excited to be here, and I'm going to try to make it as short and good as possible. So I'm Lisa Riding, and I am a confidence or body confidence and mindset coach, and I work mostly with women, and we work on how to not let how you feel about your body affect or stop you from living the best life that you could have right now if you didn't wait for the perfect body to happen. So that's what I do. And it comes obviously from my story. Like most women, I have a history of dieting, a history of obsession with food, with my body. And I think for as many of us, it starts as a kid with our moms like commenting on her body and doing diets. And it's not, I was never body shamed in my family. It's not like I wasn't even really big or anything. I remember when I was probably in 4th grade that there was something about my food being a little bit controlled, I think, because the BMI scale that I use that are very old and very not great. We can talk about that another day. But then it was just like limiting sandwiches or whatever. I remember that. But I think that affected me. And then like my first real diet was when I was about 17. I had spent a year in the United States, an exchange student. I gained weight and I was terrified. I felt horrible about it. So when I came back, I had already planned with my mom to start Weight Watchers. And that pretty much started a journey of like 15 years of going up and down and up and down. I was great at dieting, and we are great at dieting in the beginning, aren't we? We lose the weight and then every time we gain it back. And then it gets harder every time. We can do it for shorter periods of time, and then that stress. And I was also struggling with a lot of other things during these years: anxiety, perfectionism, whatever you can think of it. I was not in a very great place, and my way to control that was with food. And so everything was about, have I been good, have I been bad? I was judging my body, what I liked about it, what I didn't like, and it held me back from so many things. And it brought me out so much joy, and I would miss out on social events, adventures, and maybe I would go on them, but my brain would all constantly be thinking and shadowed by guilt and shame over not feeling good about who I was, or the fear of, if I felt good, like maybe tomorrow I will be bigger. So it was always that. And I thought it was all a lack of willpower and not my controlling myself enough, and that dieting was the solution. And it never occurred to me that maybe dieting wasn't the solution, but actually the cause. And I'm not trying to say that dieting was the cause of all my problems, but what I did was I was trying to control everything by fixing my food, fixing my body. And really it was a substitution for the things that I couldn't control, the things we can't, like the fear or the fears. So my, like the fear of fat was really summing up all the other fears of not fitting in, of not being perfect, fear of being left behind, fear of not being enough, fear of being judged, and all of those things. Of course, they can't be solved by shrinking our bodies. We're going to get to that place and we might feel good about how we look, but we're still going to have a fear that it's going to change back, because we don't know if it's going to stay there forever. So for me, it was like, once I decided, like, I don't want to waste my time, and I could see that, and I was like, I had a coach, I was working with people, and I was like, I'd rather be happy, enjoy life in my now body than wasting more time chasing a dream body that I might not get anyway. So then I was introduced to the concept of self-love, and more importantly, even of health at every size, which is basically like separating weight from health, but they are two different things. like not all thin people are healthy and not all bigger body peoples are unhealthy. So if we are wanting to truly pursue health, we're better off pursuing habits than a certain size. And this is with exercise as well. It's not just like the food, it's about moving our bodies, and it doesn't have to be that moving is always better. For me, I had to stop for years to have an exercise regime, because every time I started, I could feel that restrictive mood coming on and my body would just fight it. So I had to redefine my own version of health and decide that it wasn't only about my body, it's also about my mind, it's also about my soul, and come to terms with the fact that my healthy body might not be my dream body. So the idea is that we don't, like, if we are putting in so much effort into dieting or losing weight, if we just call it losing weight, to the point where we are feeling stressed, we're feeling anxious, and it's taking away from our joy, I can't see how that is actually healthy. And the more we have diet and the more we're having this obsession, then maybe our option is to let go of that and finding happiness in who we are now. And that doesn't mean we can't, like, health is a really big value of mine. Like it's something that I value, and I've had to balance this out, because I know that I can't restrict myself, because that throws me into the food brain and it starts controlling my life again. And there's no way I'm going to do that. So what can I do today to take care of myself in the most healthful way for me? And where that takes an effort that makes sense, where it doesn't stress me out, that my body, I had to learn to trust my body, that it will actually take care of myself. And that's going to be where I end up, is going to be where is healthy for me. It's like I can control my habits, but what my body decides to do with that is none of my business. So my weight, I decided, is none of my business. My habits are, the way I think are, the way I take care of myself is, but what my body does with that is really not. And I think that was the hardest lesson, because I could understand it, but to actually be able to incorporate it in my body, that was really, really, really hard.
And I love that you mentioned that it's none of my business. How do you, like, I can't even fathom that, because I'm like thinking about the scale and I'm like, well, I've got to figure this out. I've got to do what I can to, lose the weight, lose the fat, whatever I can. So how do you shift? And it may take a while. Yeah. How do you shift from it's none of my business, but to focus on happiness? Because we come from, always at the beginning of the year, we're saying we're going to lose weight, we're going to do this, that, and the other. So how do you, like, participate in your life and be happy and kind of let things happen as they are or do? I can't even, please explain it.
It's hard to, like, it is hard work. Like, we need to be clear with that. It's hard work, because we have to start the work, like, being terrified of what's going to happen. So there's not going to be a moment where, like, now I am not afraid to gain weight anymore, so now I can start the work. Like, it's not going to happen. So there are different ways which has to happen, like, parallelly. So this is what I found, and this is what I as a coach want to do differently. I don't want to just focus on stop dieting and do the food. I feel that you need to do the mindset work and do those things parallelly. And for every person, this is going to look differently. But certain things we need to understand why we fear fat so much, our own judgments, the society's judgments, because really we're not afraid of fat. Like, if we lived in a vacuum, it wouldn't matter if we were big. We are big. We are afraid of being fat because of what that means. Because the truth is that society is discriminating against bigger people. Just medical. If you have two people going to the doctors and one is small and one is bigger, they're going to get different medical advice, and they might have the same symptoms. So for me, it took me getting really angry. Like, I don't want to be an activist. I don't want to be like, this is not how I want people coming to me. But for me, it took me understanding this and becoming angry at a system. And I am privileged. Like, I'm considered a small person, but I'm still affected by it. So imagine people in bigger bodies. So that was one of it. One of it is to really separate the self-worth from our body. So we need to build ourselves up. And understand, for me, my goal for my clients isn't that they are going to love how they look in the mirror. It's that they are going to feel okay with themselves, regardless of what they feel about their reflection in the mirror. So some people will have the goal that they want to love that, and that is a different work that we can do. But first we get to a neutral place where, regardless of the body roles, regardless of the things that I don't like about my body, I can still like me, I can still take care of myself, I can still respect myself. And we can't do this if we at the same time are restricting our food, because we need to connect very much back into the core of ourselves, of who we are, connect back with our intuition, and learn to trust our bodies. And as long as we are trying to block that by external rules, is really hard. So we have to, like, you have to find the mindset to be able to be scared, to be able to be uncomfortable, and trust the person who's helping you, in this case it could be me, with letting go of restrictions, and like, this is going to happen, but I will be fine. Like, whatever happens, I will be fine. Because if we keep restricting, it's no way we can allow our body to connect, and it's not going to help. You're not going to be able to hear your body unless you trust yourself to do it and allow it to speak, because it's so used to you controlling it. So when you, even if you're like thinking, so Monday I am going to start my diet, your body is still thinking it's not going to give me food, and it's going to start thinking I want food. It's like thinking, it's like try not to think about a pink elephant. What are you going to think about? It's like what we resist persists. So I always work with my clients as well, which is really important, to add things in rather than take things out. So if we're talking about health today, we're not talking about not dieting, we're talking about health. Whether you're still wanting to diet, that's up to you. I'm not judging you. I totally get it. I understand it. But if it makes you feel bad, then there is another way. But so for adding stuff in, it's like, if you want to eat more vegetables, if you want to control your blood sugar, you can do that without saying, I'm not going to have a cookie, I'm not going to eat whatever. You can, if you want to balance your blood sugar, you can, and you want to have a brownie, then with the brownie or before you have it, you can make sure you have food, and then your blood sugar is going to be fine.
And and that is so just for me, it's relaxing to hear, like, not just restricting the cookie and and just have fruit only, but just being able to, okay, have that fruit or what have you, and I can still have the cookie. And to me, that just kind of blow my mind. I'm like, wow, I can. And it lets me know that it's okay. And I think that's what it is that we've restricted ourselves so much to, no, it's not okay to have that. It's not okay to have this, that, and the third, to the point where we just feel bad about ourselves, and we just go into this rabbit hole of almost to maybe even a depression, where we really are just, we're not even able to participate in life as our true authentic selves. And our true authentic self is to be happy, regardless what size we are. And for some, that may sound so weird. Like, really? Can I really be happy the way that I am? And that is just like the question, can I really be happy the way that I am? And that's something that, I experienced even on Tuesday. Like, I didn't work out for 2 days in a row. And I'm like, I just started going through this rabbit hole and going. I said, well, wait a minute, y'all, what can you do today? And let's not beat yourself up because you actually needed the rest. You can pick up tomorrow. And so but that took a lot of work on my part. And like you said, it's definitely not overnight, but this is years, compounded years and years. Like, I remember when I did my first bodybuilding competition, 2013, I wasn't happy with myself until 2021, just my body alone, because I was able to achieve a certain look, and I wanted that look, and people liked that look. And I felt like, well, that's the look that I need to always have. But really, in all actuality, I just need to be happy, whether I'm a size 2 or rather a size 12,
There are so many things in what you're saying. One I want to point out is the work of self-compassion. Like, we need to be, like, whatever happens, be kind to ourselves. In most people that are having any type of food dieting issues are people who are also perfectionists. So we want to do 0 or 100. It's like, I don't go to the gym, so then everything is just destroyed. No, like, you cannot go to the gym for a year, and if you go today, it still counts because it made you feel good. Like do things today. And the other thing is that our bodies are constantly evolving. So our weight, our set point weight, the weight we're supposed to be at healthy, is going to change depending on our lifestyle. In my case, I've been for the past 7 years dancing professionally. So I've had like dance practices between 3 and 7 hours a day. I had a great body. It was easy to do certain work, but the fear of losing that body and then going into quarantine where our dance school shut down, there were no competition. Of course, my body's different now than it was then. So I had to go do the work again with like, now my body's changing, but now I feel like I could heal on a completely different level. So this is also why it's important, not just to be like, okay, I'm going to get to this point, because something's going to happen. Maybe you're in an accident, you can't work out. Maybe you become a mom, something changes. Maybe you get a hormone issue. We get older, things are going to change. So we're much better off working on being healthy. Sure, whatever that means to you, you get to decide if that is a value. Some people don't even have health as a value, and that need to be okay as well. But if we're talking about people now who are, then decide your version, like what does health mean to you, and very intentionally, what are you doing to pursue that health? And are you doing it because of health, or are you doing it because of a result that you want to get? And if you are, what is it that you think that you're going to get at the end of it that you can't give yourself today? Because that's really what we're after. We're after that feeling. We don't want to be judged. We're really, really scared of what is going to happen if I change, if I am not fitting in and all that. So I understand, I totally get it. It's why we want to do it and why it's so hard to let go of, but that's also why it's important.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Lisa. This has been such a delicious conversation. I can go on and on and on just talking, but I just even in this short conversation, I just received so much of a benefit, and I would just love people to be able to get the same benefit that I have gotten, even in this short period of time, just to be able to work with you to shift the way that they see themselves and then view themselves, into actually be happy, and actually happy equals healthy. So how can people get in contact with you?
So the easiest way to get in contact with me is either DM me here on Facebook. You find me as Lisa Writing. I think the link is there. Or in Instagram is also Lisa_writing. DM me. I love getting DMs, love getting to chat with you guys. And if you want to get on a coffee call or see how we can work together, then just reach out to me. And if you just want to be there and follow and get these type of advice and inputs on mindset in general, just give me a follow and you'll get updates, not daily, but almost. So I'm there.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. Thank you so much, Lisa. This has been, I would like to call it my personal breakthrough. I don't know about you guys, but I got my personal breakthrough here. So make sure you definitely reach out to Lisa. She will definitely just guide you into loving yourself. Oh my goodness. Because it's not about losing. If I lose the weight, I'll love myself more. If I do this, if I do, really, how can you love yourself in the now? And I just absolutely love that. That is delicious, like a piece of cake. Anyway, brownie. Anyway, as I digress. Anyway, so thank you again, Lisa. Everyone, again, make sure you reach out to Lisa, and it has been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. So excited. Have an amazing day and an amazing month, and good luck to everyone who's doing the challenge.
Absolutely. Thank you.